particularly in this instance, the city of Atlanta, and the connectedness that we have through technology that I think made a very bad situation get resolved within a matter of hours. And while we can see the value of our real-time crime center and the confluence of all the technology that we're using in this space for such a significant event as what occurred in early May, we've been seeing the value of using technology for the past years throughout Cobb County, whether it's in addressing crime that comes into our high traffic corridors or areas that are more prone to crime. We've seen the value of us being able to target where incidents are occurring and make the community less of a target and make the culprit the target as we are systematic in addressing how crime is unfolding. And I know that's through technology, but our technology is only as strong as our people. And we have to have great people that are working here within this crime center who are looking at our screens and are getting information from the network of men and women that we have working in public safety. You have to recognize our 911 center and all the many people who work behind the scenes to help us in addressing crime. But the people that are on the ground where crime occurs, they are a valuable, integral connection point in us being able to resolve these instances. And I'm grateful for those that are partnering with our police and providing access to the technology that we have accessible to us at our home fronts or even our business fronts, as we've seen the value of Flock and of our license plate readers that are set up in communities across Cobb. But it's going to take each one of us coming together, I think, for us to be able to continue to do the great job that Cobb is doing, to being able to fight crime within our county and to do it in a way that goes after the culprit instead of just going after communities in general. And that has been the value that I've seen through all the efforts that we've made with technology over the past few years. So with that, Chief, I'm going to turn things over back to you.
All right, so what I want to talk about first is really, I do this a lot, but I'm just going to tell you why I do what I do and why the men and women that help me do what I do, why we do it. We do it because we want to do something valuable with life. We want to do something valuable with our career. To do that, sometimes you have to make some hard choices, and one of those hard choices is being very, very transparent with your community, communicating with your community on technology that you are using, even though sometimes people are concerned about privacy rights. What we've done in Cobb County from the beginning in pushing and experimenting with new technology has been very, very transparent, very early with our community and getting input from them so that we can safeguard people's privacy. We have done that with every single piece of technology that we decide to use permanently, and we find once the story is told adequately and we show the benefits of this technology and the safeguards of what we put in place for our policy, that overwhelming support exists in the Cobb County community for technology that we've been using for years that lays the foundation for what you will see today. We do that because we care about doing a good job. It is very tough to watch things happen and not be able to find the perpetrator or stop the perpetrator. It's a burden that we carry. And when we are looking at new technology and we try to do things like this, we do it out of a concern for innocent people who are victimized. And that will never change, because when the police forget that safety of our citizens is our primary job, we are not community policing, and we are not loving our community like we really do. So we take that job seriously. I would like to commend the men and women who have stayed in this profession. Technology is nothing without people. And there are people in this room right now that made all the difference on the active shooter call, that made a difference in some photographs you're going to see, incredible difference there, and on a video that you will see that's unrelated to the active shooter. In the end, it takes police officers with a gun and a badge and a bulletproof vest to go take these individuals into custody in the end. My hat's off to the officers who were involved in that the other night and what they are doing every night while we are all sleeping. And by sleeping, I'm being figurative. I mean not paying attention. There are many, many lives saved that we cannot calculate. Just in DUI arrests, just in guns off the streets, just in gang members who offend. It's really impossible to thank them enough and to calculate their impact. The final thing that I would like to bring up is something that Chairwoman Cupid touched on. We call it precision policing. It's something that as we advance technology, we hope is advanced in society so that we are stopping the right suspect more quickly, more often, and detaining people who may look like or be dressed like or be driving a similar car to the suspect less often. That is a recipe for disaster for the police, because when they stop the wrong person, the police are still worried that they are the right person, and so they're cautious. For that reason, precision policing, which is what we're terming this, is extremely important for us. We want a very, very detailed description of who committed the crime so that we can stop the right person, not stop the wrong person. If I could get a queued up video to display that, I think it will speak much more than what I'm able to convey in words. It's about 2 minutes. Then I'm going to turn this over to Captain Hull to talk about how we can actually partner with our community. We are going to show our community today how they can partner with us to help us do things like we saw 2 weeks ago, to help us do things like what you just saw, and to help us do things that we will show you in a few minutes. I'm going to turn it over to Captain Darren Hull, who is the current commander of the Real-Time Crime Center, and allow him to tell you a little bit more specifically about how we're going to do that. Thank you.
Thank you much for coming today. We appreciate your time, and we appreciate your attention to this matter because we think it is the future of policing. We're going to discuss 3 different things. We're going to start off with talking about the Connect Cobb County website, and then we will go to camera registration, and finally camera integration. The public-facing side of this partnership between the police department and our community is going to be connectcobbcounty.org. You can see what the site looks like over on the side here. And there's 2 different options that you could have in this partnership. Option number 1 is going to be what we refer to as camera registry. That would be considered a digital handshake between the community and the police department. It allows a homeowner to simply tell the police department, hello, I have this video resource, I live in this area, and reach out to me if you need me. Camera registry does not involve the police department ingesting any video. They can't see the homeowner's video. What it allows is a digital canvas. So not too long ago, if we had a certain series of crimes in a particular area, detectives would go out and knock on every door to try to see if there was video cameras or if witnesses saw something. So what this does is allow the detectives to digitally reach out to their community and let them know this is the case number, this is what we are looking for, and let us know if you have any video. If you go down on level 2 involves integrating your cameras. Integration is more for businesses, apartment complexes, government-owned cameras, and things like that. There's a device and a subscription that allows the community organization to basically share their video real time with the police department. We're going to give you an example of how each of those are used. The very first example involves a doorbell camera. We had an armed robber that was targeting the Hispanic community in the Mableton Parkway and Discovery Boulevard area. There were no leads on the case, and the police department put significant resources into surveillance trying to locate the suspect. A doorbell camera captured a video, and this is a screenshot on the left, of the suspect vehicle believed to be involved in the crimes. If you think about a series of stepping stones, this was the first stepping stone, but these stepping stones led to a successful surveillance operation, to an arrest, and a successful prosecution. It ended the stream of terror. During the traffic stop on the right, you will see what was located inside the suspect's vehicle, the mask and the gun that was used to terrorize his community. So that was an example of a registered camera that impacted our public safety very greatly. The second thing that we are going to show you is going to be some video from the recent incident a couple weeks ago. This video, and you can go ahead and start it, this video is going to be a series of video clips that all came from ingested cameras. Some of these cameras were government-owned cameras. They could be from things like DOT cameras, patrol car cameras, body-worn cameras. And what happened during this event is the Real-Time Crime Center was able to access these cameras. And if you imagine the entire Atlanta area, with all the square mileage and the millions of people in the area, the integration of cameras allowed us to send the officers to a very particular place and a very particular location. But, as the chief said, great technology doesn't work without great people. And so even though we were able to locate the general area that the suspect was in, we were able to turn that information over to our officers, who conducted a very professional, calm, and safe arrest of the suspect. So through these videos and what I've discussed with Connect Cobb County, you can see that to us, public safety is not an abstract comment, it's very real. And the power of this technology, the power of the partnership with our community through Connect Cobb County is not abstract either, it's very real. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn it over to Chief Van Hooser.
Hey, I'll end just really stressing one thing. It's, well, two things. First of all, community. The foundation for all this was laid several years ago with a very baby company here in Cobb County, here in Metro Atlanta called Flock, License Plate Recognition, Flock Safety. I believe that's probably the best tool. It's definitely the best tool I've seen in 33 years of police work, 100%. Later, we found out that a little company we were reading about across the nation was also here in Atlanta, Fusus, and they helped us do the real-time crime center. These two companies really, plus a lot of other technology that we use behind the scenes that are less prominent but still important, really were the basis of this, and we partnered with them as young companies and really helped them and they helped us, mutually beneficial. It's the epitome of community policing. Small businesses right here in Atlanta that we partnered with to refine their processes and their programs and their products as they helped us refine our policing. But more than that, everybody knows, I think, that on the armed robbery, that camera was a citizen. That was a regular citizen that helped us solve those string of armed robberies against the Hispanic community in Mableton. A dog was barking, I think we know this now, that alerted the homeowner to call the police on the active shooter a few weeks ago. Saw that with one of our media outlets, 11 Live did a story on that. So our community is policing with us. That's what's happening. This is the best example of community policing, keyword policing. I'll wrap it up with this and then we'll take some questions. You heard the officers giving commands. For you guys, it's just a police officer in a uniform. For us, it's our police officers. We know their voice. We talk to them. We know where they eat. We see them eating with their families at restaurants. We live close by. We love them. I would ask you, with the civilian group that's in here right now that made a huge difference a couple of weeks ago and makes a difference every single day that they're working, and the police officers, support your police, love on them when they do good, love on them when they do make mistakes. That's community policing. I can't stress that enough, how important supporting the police department is. Thank you. We will be more than happy. We've got the commissioners here, Chairwoman Cupid, Captain Hull, and myself will be entertaining questions if you have any, and then we'll wrap this thing up. So,
Chief, it looked like, by all accounts, that was a success from your department in apprehending the officer. What was your reaction when you saw that and just the police work of them taking him into custody safely?
it was boring, wasn't it? That's what will happen every time, in my opinion, when people follow the instructions of a police officer who's well trained and doing his job properly. That was boring. I loved it. I watched it that night. I was very, very proud of it. And I had people who had an opinion of Cobb County Police who were almost in tears telling me they were so happy to see how professional they took that person into custody, because they expected something different because of the heinous nature of the crime. And that's just not true. So I was very proud of all of the officers that worked so hard in the field, and this group, 911, fire was out there, EMS was out there, just a collective effort. I'm very proud. Thank you.
And what role do you think this camera network could have played in capturing him had it been used that day?
We used the camera network that day.
I guess the private citizens' cameras.
You want to answer that? I'd like to let Captain Hull, who's a little bit more responsible for this than me, have a little bit of time to answer if you feel.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
So there's kind of two parts to that question. So part number one is the registry portion, right? And so the journey from an investigation, from the initial crime until hopefully one day an arrest and prosecution, can be a long journey. But with the registered cameras, that oftentimes is that first step down that path. For the example that we gave you from Discovery Boulevard, there were no leads until we were able to obtain that video from just a regular doorbell camera. So there is power in citizens partnering with us because they may provide that break that we need. The second part is the camera integration. We have numerous examples. I'm always open to give you guys tours and kind of show you, right? But we have numerous examples of how that integration allows officers to respond both in real time, so they can actually hear a call for service, and other officers can help make more effective and efficient police responses with the information that they gather from that video. It also helps our detectives a lot too, because in a lot of these investigations, time is of essence. It is sometimes your most critical resource. So being able to access these videos in our real-time crime center is that valuable resource. It gives you more time, it gives you more information. And detectives and officers can always make better choices with more information and more time.
How much time do you think it saved you when we're talking about this Midtown shooter once we knew he was coming into Cobb County? How much time with using the ability to go back and look at these cameras?
You know, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, I don't know, over 5 million people in the Atlanta metropolitan area. So you have an LPR hit that sends up the flare, hey, this vehicle is not just in Metro Atlanta, it's in Cobb County in this particular area. And then this team was amazing. Because of the camera integration, they are able to start with that little flare, right, and follow the vehicle from camera to camera to camera until we finally see the suspect abandon the vehicle. So imagine the thousands of square miles that we have and all the people that we have. But this technology and this team, because once again, the technology and the people have to go together, are able to tell officers from multiple jurisdictions and multiple units, you need to get to this area right now and focus all your efforts on that. And so how much more efficient and effective can you get?
Is there an estimate of how quickly that happened for you guys? You got the ping that this was happening? It's hard to go back.
I know this is an active investigation, so I might turn that over to Chief Van Hoosier.
I'll go back to this. It was a flock hit. It was a flock hit. I mean, it's just that simple. I don't know how long it would have taken us to locate that vehicle. Probably not that long, because probably somebody would have seen it, but it could have saved us 24 hours on a lead. I don't know. Just been a matter of time for an officer to have seen that or a citizen to call it in. Don't know. But I would guarantee you this, time was not our friend. It was getting dark. The sun was going down when we located this individual. Thank goodness for the little dogs that were barking, because we were going to stay. We were going to stay all night, and we were going to be there in the morning when moms and dads and kids were going their merry way in the morning. We would have been there. I can't help but tell you a little bit on the armed robbery suspect from Mableton, and these are just two examples. We had a crime analyst that cracked that case by looking at hundreds and hundreds of cars that matched the description that were in 6 square miles of the location they were having, and then she went through one by one, and she found this person. She found them, and it was amazing. We had an alert in this room, and one of the civilians in this room recognized a 911 call that looked significantly different as far as location and description, and she thought this was the person, and we prioritized that call because of her. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that people don't get credit for. We get it, he and I, but the worker bees really don't get it. But nobody would go home 2 weeks ago. Nobody was asked to stay late. Everybody just stayed late. Everybody. The patrol officers, all my special units, everybody in this room, everybody stayed. But to your question, ma'am, I really don't know for sure, but I guarantee you that the speed and efficiency of things like this is giant. It's very significant. And I hate to talk about money, but this is an efficiency that saves money for taxpayers. We're solving cases in this room in 45 minutes that probably would never have been solved, but if they were, would have taken 4 or 5 days. Major Mitchell is here right now. He was the captain over this unit when we brought it in. He solved the burglary in 45 minutes before the patrol officer was even done taking the report. So there's a lot of fiscal responsibility with this as well, but vastly faster is all I can say.
All right, we'll do one more question if anybody has one.
ask you about the balance between, you kind of mentioned this earlier, the balance between privacy and safety. People see this as a clear success story, but others might not want their video or their face walking down the street blasted right into the police department. What's your reaction to those concerns?
First of all, I live in Cobb County. I don't want to live in a police state. Nobody wants that less than I do. I don't want to live in a police state. I am the police. I am the government. I want to live in a free society where I know I'm not being tracked. And that's, we come in with that natural bend, you know, but we also communicate very, very proactively with groups that we have from our community, that they're advisory groups more or less. We actually visit with groups that we know are poised against our technology. We read articles about agencies that maybe get on too early. We wait till stuff matures. We wait until facial recognition matures. And then once we know we've got a solid policy, once we know we've consulted with people that feel like that and share our concerns, and once we know we've got a pretty solid set of rules, boundaries for our department, then we go talk to the bosses. And guess what they do? They listen to both sides, not just one side. They'll take what the media reports and what some groups say, and then they'll listen to us, and we'll show them things like, hey, just so you know the rest of the story that's not often reported in the media, here it is, and it's significant. It's not abstract, as Captain Hull was saying. These are real cases, and they stand up for us. Facial recognition, I'm not sure we've ever had an agenda item that took that long to defend, but they stood with us. And so what we find is when we show our community, and we just did this on March 25th, y'all covered a big community meeting we had with all of the cities, school police, sheriff's office, fire, 911, to talk about active shooters and other things. But one of the things we did was a technology presentation. When we showed them, we measured what they thought about facial recognition. Over 90% were in favor of it. So they are partners. People that have that perspective, I share it. They are our partners because they help us form a stronger policy. So we are essentially on their side, but we're also not going to take the primary responsibility of safety off of our shoulders. And if we have technology that we can use responsibly that will significantly impact the safety of our community, we are going to do it carefully, very carefully. Guys, appreciate it very much. I'm sorry.
Mention the website one more time.
Okay.
That again. The website is connectcobbcounty.org, and there is a Spanish version for our Hispanic community that you can access by clicking the globe icon at the top right of the screen.
And I would like to, if I could add on, I believe this is the first one that we know of where we've been able to actually translate this into Spanish for our community and actually do a little bit better job of reaching out to our Hispanic community. And we've got partners in this room that met me at the meeting on March 25th, and so we're seeing a harvest, I guess, from the seeds planted at just a little community meeting. So thank you. We have a translator here, and we thank her for that too. So thank you guys very much.